Russ, want to play along with the poll question here? Biggest buyers at the trade deadline, and feel free to elaborate, between Toronto, Milwaukee, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and the Yankees. Now, for me, I want to say Baltimore. I just don't have faith in them making a ton of moves. They'll do something. But I just, based on what they've done the last few years, and even just the last year when they've actually been good, it's hard for me to be like, wow, Baltimore is just going to steal the show at the trade deadline. So I actually voted for Toronto. What do you think?
All right. I definitely want to hear what you guys think after I go. So Toronto makes a lot of sense. Like, I feel like I was a year early on the Blue Jays because I picked them to win the World Series last year. Obviously, they didn't get there. But I'm with you, Scott. I look at the Baltimore Orioles. They're one of the best stories in baseball to me this year because they're about to chase down the Tampa Bay Rays. And I don't think enough people are talking about that. The Rays were the hottest thing going in baseball for the better part of 3 months. And they hit an absolute cold stretch before the All-Star break. And the Baltimore Orioles were consistent. They were steady. And they are one game behind the Tampa Bay Rays for the top spot in the AL East. This is the time when you make your move. So you're thinking about starting pitching, right? Maybe a Lucas Giolito, maybe it's Lance Lynn. I know Dylan Cease's name has come up as a possible trade target. If I'm the White Sox, do I move Dylan Cease right now? Probably not. But if you're the Orioles, you got to set the bar high, right? Because you have an opportunity as a team who has the third best record in the big leagues right now to strike while the iron's hot. You're bringing up all these prospects. You have a catcher that can, manage a rotation and has shown leadership ability. You have a manager that guys believe in, and all these young guys coming up have all played together for a long time. This is the time, if you're the Baltimore Orioles, to go out with the prospect capital that you have and make a big move.
See, I'm kind of leaning the other way on that one. I'm kind of going towards Toronto and Tampa, just for the reason that I think Baltimore has started the process to be a really good team for a really long time. I don't want to give up what's still coming for them to sacrifice. I think maybe they're a year ahead right now. So I think Toronto and Tampa, who are set in their windows right now, those are the type of the teams that I want to see kind of go make that move. Because not only do you make the move to win now, you probably also take the guy those teams wanted, whether it's the Yankees, whether it's the Baltimore. You kind of block them in the process too. I think Toronto and Tampa are more of a piece away in their winning window than the Baltimore, who are building something maybe over a few years right now.
I agree with you, Kim. I understand that, where you don't want to. You were bad for so long to get all these guys.
Don't ruin it.
Yes, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. I'm with you.
AJ?
I'm going. Listen, I'm sick of Baltimore. I'm sick of Baltimore saying they're a year away. No, I'm serious, because last year, we're ahead of schedule. Now this year, we're ahead of schedule. Screw that. Go for it. Go get somebody. Go get some dudes. If you have a farm system as deep as everyone says the Orioles is, go out and get some dudes. If you're Tampa Bay, you make the playoffs every year. And guess what? Nobody cares and nobody comes to the games. Why? You got to make the final step. Win the World Series. Go out and get dudes. Toronto, I want all these teams to go out and get guys. Let's go. Make it crazy. Toronto, you haven't won in 30 years. Guess what? Go out and get dudes, right? Go out and make again, prospects are only prospects until they become a player. Otherwise, they're all suspects as far as I'm concerned. Jeff Francoeur told me this in 2013, 12, 13 when he was on the Royals. He said, I'm so sick of the Royals having all these prospects. At some point, we got to turn these prospects into players. They did it a couple years later, went on and won the World Series in 2015. At some point, you got to make that step. Now, who's the GM that's going to be ballsy enough to say, I'm going to make that move? Will it be Toronto? Will it be Baltimore? Again, Baltimore hasn't won it forever. Dude, 40 years since they won a World Series, right? They got to go do it. And to me, that's the thing. Who's going to be the GM to do it? But I hope all these teams do it, because I want teams to try to win. If I'm a fan and I'm sitting there and I'm a player on their team and I'm on the Rays and we go out and trade for, I don't know, whoever we trade for, it gives you hope. It gives you belief, right? So screw the teams that sit back. Like last year, the Orioles didn't do much and they were right there. Fuck that. Let's go, boys. Let's go get it. Because who knows what happens next year. Next year is next year. But let's year we're in it and we're going to chase the Rays down. Let's go take the next step.
And unlike last year where you talk about Baltimore, they were in a different position, right? You trade Trey Mancini, who's going to be on the show a little bit later, and that made sense, right? You allow Trey to go win a World Series with the Houston Astros in a year where they're realistic. They were like, all right, we're probably not going to be a true contender. But this year, with the circumstances that you have now, where you've shown that not only are you one of the best teams in the AL East, you're one of the best teams in all of baseball. Yes, you and you have teams around the big leagues that aren't playing like we thought they would and might be sellers, and there might be guys on the market that you didn't think would be available to you that you could make a deal for. Yeah, and you have a fan base that says, we lost 100 games for how long? Please do something where we can be excited about this team.
Hey, Russ, before we let you go, before we jump, who's better than the Baltimore Orioles in the American League right now?
Based off of how they're playing, I say they're probably the best team in the American League.
Then let's fucking go, boys. Let's go get somebody and let's make a run.
Fair.
People ask me all the time, who's the best team you've seen? Atlanta, I haven't seen Baltimore, but I watch them on TV. They're exciting. They have young players. They got a great bullpen. Let's go. Get what you need, and let's take a run. And if I'm an Orioles fan, I am putting pressure on the Angelos family. Let's go. Let's make a run this year.
Let's clip that off, okay? And we'll show it to Trey Mancini so he can send it to his old fam and be like, hey, guys, you need to send this to the front office so they can be aggressive and make moves. That is a motivating speech from AJ.
And let's also not remember, Baltimore's on national TV this week for the first time in like forever. So the public are taking notice of Adley Rutschman and Bautista and Cano and Gunnar Henderson and Cedric Mullins and all these dudes. So it's not just us. The public are paying attention.